Here's his drive shaft.
I don't even think it's round anymore.
It's 100% not round.
Hold it up.
That's as far from round as you can get. So I couldn't have thought of a better place to start our Rubicon Trail damage video than right here at Valley Hybrids, where our good friend George was so kind as to let Jason use not only some shop space, but also the helping hand of 4 technicians, plus Kevin, to repair his Land Cruiser. There's his wheel. I'm gonna have to take a deep breath here to go through this list, but as we've torn this apart, we have found out that Jason needs a radiator, both front axle seals, the right inner axle, the rear drive shaft, both rear lower control arms, both front spindles, the front lower control arm bushings. He has a broken wheel, and of course, as you guys know, he also did a great job smashing his driver's side doors. What did you do, Jason? He beats his Land Cruiser up more than we beat up our Jeep. So Kevin and I just got out of the Rubicon Trail and are currently driving through beautiful Yosemite National Park in California on our way down to Vegas, where we have a couple more goodies to install on the JL. But before we do that, I do want to go over some of the trail damage that we incurred while on the Rubicon Trail. That way you guys can see exactly how much the stepchild took in this beating this time around. So Kevin and I are officially in Las Vegas. Luckily, we were able to find a little bit of shade to go ahead and knock this out for you guys. The Rubicon Trail was pretty rough on our JL this time around, but that had a lot to do with the fact that we were following buggies nearly the entire time. But of course, you guys know us, we're not gonna go easy on her. We're gonna push her through every hard line and every difficult obstacle that we can to see if she can make it and really challenge this Jeep to our absolute best. So as you guys know, Kevin and I did break the taillight. Luckily, someone on the trail had silicone they were able to let us borrow, so Kevin and I were able to silicone the edges here just to keep moisture out of the taillight itself. And then of course, if you'll remember, we actually broke the taillight off. That was a little bit more of my fault, but lucky for us, it wasn't the taillight that broke, it was actually the bracket. And again, luckily enough, Kevin and I had plastic epoxy, so we were able to go in, put that on there, and more or less repair it. And as you can see, she's just as sturdy as she was stock. So we were able to fix that, thank goodness, and the taillight still works. In addition to the taillight though, as you guys all know, Kevin and my least favorite part of the Jeep, the license plate bracket. Our brand new, not even 1 week old official plate is a little difficult to read now, unfortunately. But as you can see, Kevin's kind of impromptu fix to keep this bracket into place by screwing all of these screws into the bracket itself did the trick. You can actually see it stayed in place and it's still really solid. The downside is though, it's completely crushed, including the bumper, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm over the bumper though. It's completely destroyed and pulled off all the paint off our panels. I mean, I know I'm being mean to this thing, but this is not what a metal bumper should be doing.
And the thing is not all of that paint issue is from us coming down on rocks. If you'll notice on a lot of the JLs, the rear bumper actually flexes just as you're going over rocks. As the body flexes, the rear bumper will actually flex into the quarter panel itself. I mean, a good chunk of that's from us, beating it up, but part of it's also just it flexing naturally while you're driving on the trail, which is really, really unfortunate. So I have a feeling a rear bumper is really high on our next priority list of things to change.
That's coming.
Per usual though, most of the damage is underneath the vehicle. This time I have a handy dandy mat to lay on. But let's go ahead and get under there, that way I can actually show you guys what we're looking at this time around. So before I crawl too far under there though, I wanted to take a moment to take a look at our exhaust tip here. As you can see, we've done a pretty good job of flattening it out completely. And if you notice right up here, you can also see where it's kind of been pushed upward and dented in on the top side as well. And then of course, there's the muffler, which unfortunately hasn't really fared any better. Okay, so moving further underneath the Jeep, the absolute rock star of this entire trip has got to be the MetalCloak undercloak armor system. These skids, especially this rear diff skid, took an absolute beating, and they took it like a champ. Although they're scraped to absolute hell, you can see how much they stood up to, and they're still holding on strong. That's mind-blowing, to be honest, especially when we came from those god-awful OEM cross members now to this. Without these skids, a lot of what we did on the Rubicon Trail would have been next to impossible. And I'll go ahead and take a moment to pan over these other skids. That way you guys can see just how much abuse they took on this trip. Alright, now that I think I've bragged enough about the MetalCloak skids, our drive shaft is completely toast.
And that's okay because...
we have plans soon to come. Just stay tuned for that. But if you look closely, Kevin actually managed to scrape off some of the weights on the rear drive shaft.
That are welded on.
Yeah, this poor thing has, I think, seen its last trail. Stay tuned and you guys will be able to see what we're doing next. But let's move on to the next section. Okay, I'm gonna use Kevin's help this time. Thank you, babe.
Oh no, your butt is black.
Is it? Oh no.
Oh man. Good
Well,
thing you wore your dirty jeans.
Alright.
You're not getting back in my Jeep with that. Alright,
Alright, let's keep going.
Let's
keep going.
go.
The important part now on the front side of the vehicle is the steering stabilizer. So I don't know if you guys can see, but this is not supposed to be flat. And believe it or not, we actually had a talk with MetalCloak in regards to this, and it sounds like they'll be coming out with a relocation bracket for this stabilizer just to get it out of the way so this doesn't happen to other people in the future. Unfortunately, what this basically means is that the steering sticks a little bit while we're driving. It's still drivable, so no massive concerns, but it's not something that you want to leave like that. We do have to replace this stabilizer, unfortunately. And then, last but not least, our champion Motobilt diff covers. If these had been OEM, we would have peeled them backwards on the trail more than once, and it definitely would have left us stranded. So we're still super happy with these guys. I can tell you the bolts are starting to strip away, but again, I think most people won't have quite as much of an issue with that as we do, simply because we do wheel our Jeep a little more roughly than most people do theirs. Other than that though, the Jeep is fantastic. It drives straight, there's no vibrations, we have 0 leaks, nothing completely broke. We were never left stranded on the trail. It's, once again, 120% fully surprised us and impressed us on this Rubicon trip. We love this JL so much, you guys. Again, if you've never driven one, I highly recommend go out, drive one, try it out. They're friggin' fantastic. But anyways, we've got plans, we've got an appointment to make. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you next time. Bye! What did you just say? Say it again.
When I lived here, this bridge was never here. And we didn't go through Boulder City.
We missed Boulder City. So not only has he not fed me, but it's 2 o'clock, I haven't eaten anything. I didn't eat breakfast or anything like that because we were busy. And you said you would get me food later. Now we've missed Boulder City. What's the next closest city, Kevin, in this wondrous area? You don't even know. You don't even know when the next city is. I'm gonna starve today. I'm gonna end up, you guys, you're not gonna get any more videos because I'm literally just going to starve and wither away.
I don't, damn it.
I'm so unhappy right now.
I don't know what to, I'm sorry.
I want food.
Sorry you have to listen to her complaining.
I'm gonna kill her.